he's got a gig in Santa Rosa. I'm not sure what it is. But so I would encourage all of you, especially Katie and Roberta and those of you who have musical voices, to help sing. Because Art and I are rabbis or rabbinical students, and our forte is not necessarily music. So why don't we start with a song that I think many of you know, Hine Matov.
And I'll say on my own behalf, I never knew you had such a gift for understatement.
Okay. And can you all hear us okay? Okay, good. So please join us in Hine Matov. I don't know the page. Hine Matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine Matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. That was good. Let's do all of our songs like that tonight. By the way, if any of you are curious, Hine Matov is actually from the book of Psalms. It's a verse from the book of Psalms, and it means how wonderful it is for all of us sitting together, brother and sister, in happiness. So that's the song. We have had a beautiful week. I know there's been a little bit of drama. Linda injured herself. She's okay. Art hurt himself. I'm actually touching where he hurt himself, but he's doing much better. Katie had an injury too. So lots of good vibes go out in our community to people who are recovering from trips and falls. We're going to continue with the lighting of our Shabbat candles, and I'd like to invite up Ellen Elson to do us that honor. And you can follow along on page 120 with the blessing.
She would find it.
Yeah.
We've gone to lighters.
I think it works better.
I'm telling you. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'ner shel Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'hadlik ner shel Shabbat. Thank you, Ellen. Let's continue on page 142 with Shalom Alechem. Shalom Alechem, Malachei Hasharei, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Bochem Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu Nila Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Zekem L'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim, Chatzi Kaddish is on page 144. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabbah Be'alma divrach yirtei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael Bagala Bagala uv'izman kariv v'miru Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam amel maya Yitbarach v'yishtabach Yitpar v'yitramam v'yinaseh Yitadar v'yitalel V'yitalal Shemei d'kudusha b'rechu Le'elam mikol berchata v'shirata Tushbechata v'nechemata Damiran me'alma V'imru Amen. Page 146.
We rise for the Baruch Hu. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach Baruch Adonai HaMevorach HaMevorach Le'olam va'ed HaMevorach HaMevorach Le'olam va'ed. On the bottom of page 149, this is an hour of change. Within it we stand uncertain on the border of light. Shall we draw back or cross over? Where shall our hearts turn? Shall we draw back, my brothers, my sister, or cross over? This is the hour of change, and within it we stand quietly on the border of light. What lies before us? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? Baruch atah Adonai, ha'ma'avir arvim. Page 150 in the English. Everlasting love you offered your people Israel by teaching us Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts. Therefore, Adonai our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we'll meditate on your laws and your commandments. We will rejoice in your Torah forever. Day and night we reflect on them, for they are our life, and doing them is the length of our days. Never remove your love from us. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levacha v'b'chol nafshecha v'b'chol mayodecha v'hayu הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך Ushachcha uvukumecha, Ushatam liot al yadecha, V'hayula tatafot beineinecha, Uktavtam al mezuzot beitecha, Uvisharecha, L'man tizkaru, V'asitem et kol mitzvotai, V'hitem kedoshim lelohechem, Ani Adonai Elohechem, Asher hotzeichem me'eretz Mitzrayim, Le'ot lachem Elohim, Ani Adonai Elohechem. Amen. The top of page 157. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together. The chance of our singing the same Micha
Well,
Mocha.
which version of Micha Mocha do we want to do? Bert and Katie will ask, you can get us started.
Okay. Me.
There are a lot of different melodies.
It's like the Israelites afraid to plunge into the sea. Eli Madonna, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, mi kamocha ba'eli Madonna, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh. Nora tehillah, o sefele, Nora tehillah, o sefele, Adonai, Yimloch le'olam va'ed. Avutecha uvanecha, bokei hayam livnei Miriam, Zelianu v'yamru, Zelianu v'yamru, Adonai, Yimloch le'olam va'ed. Mi kamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, mi kamocha nedmelim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh. We got it. It just took a little while to pull the car out of the garage. Yeah.
But it worked. Thank you.
Someone stepped in and we
Someone
all
stepped in.
followed.
Okay.
On the bottom of 161. Shelter us beneath your wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning's light. Teach us, O God, wrong from right. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, haparei Sukkot shalom, aleinu v'al kol amo Yisrael, v'al Yerushalayim.
Okay. Hashkivenu. Hashkivenu
Adonai
Eloheinu l'shalom, l'shalom. V'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Amen. Shelter us beneath your wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning's light. Teach us wrong from right. Amen. Amen. Amen.
We continue with the Amidah on page 164.
Please rise.
Adonai, Sifatayti Tach, Ufiya.
Ose shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru, ve'imru amen. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, yaseh shalom, Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. At this point in the service, we pause and think of those in need of healing on this Shabbat, healing of body, healing of spirit, and healing of heart. And we ask God to bestow the blessing, the bracha, of refuah shlema, full and complete healing on the following men and women in our congregation or those known and loved by our community: Ilana Massey, Kevin Brackett, Michelle Camissia, Joshua Hyman, Diane Butler, Jesse Friedman, Marjorie Gilberg, Michael Blend, Jim Mates, Janet Marbury, Brenda Flood, Sharon Blevis, Joan Elson, Sherry Cohos, Lynn McManus, Walter Wilmert, Jerry Mautner, Kirk Whitlatch, Barbara Cosson, Etta Kessler, David Rabb, Jensen Beach, Carl Smith, Aaron Ledden, Geraldine Kokich, David Mendelson, and Minnie Shostak. And if anyone has a name they'd like to add, I invite you to please do so. Continue with the Misha Berach. Misha Berach Avoteinu Mekor HaBracha Limoteinu. May the source of strength, who's blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misha Berach Imoteinu Mekor HaBracha Lavoteinu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. One of the joys I get as a rabbi who now is working with a rabbinical student, a rabbinic intern, is that I get to hear the words of wisdom from somebody else, someone else on the path to becoming a rabbi. And I've heard you now in the last couple months in multiple contexts, in different ways. You always have something interesting and new to share. So I'm going to sit down and we're going to hear from you tonight.
Thank you. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. I was struck by the words we just sung. Give us the courage to make our lives a blessing. Because in a sense, that's what this week's Torah portion is all about. The Torah portion begins with some of the most powerful words in the entire Torah. You shall be holy, for I, Adonai, your God, am holy. Sometimes we hear that word holy and we imagine men in flowing robes alone on a mountaintop. We think that holiness is something only for the few. But the Hebrew word kadosh, holiness, means something a little different. It means make your life a blessing. You shall be holy is God's way of telling us you have a job to do. Each of you slightly different. Love your neighbor. Help them and care for them. Be there for them. And together you can build a heaven right here on earth. So today, I'd like to introduce you to the most holy man I ever knew, or rather to his eulogy. He was a friend who died almost 10 years ago, and this is what I wrote. My closest friend died this morning at the age of 93. He was an angry, coarse man who had survived incredible pain, an abusive father, childhood anti-Semitism, and being on the beach on the first day of Normandy, seeing all of his friends die. When I met him 20 years ago, his son had just died from AIDS. And he took all that anger, all that grief, that lifetime of pain, and he decided that somehow our tiny congregation was going to build a building. My friend Bernie hounded us for years, urging, cajoling, complaining, insisting that if you will it, it is no dream. Only this enormous project, this communal outpouring of love could help him find meaning from his son's death. And when the building was complete, he insisted that we not put his name on the cornerstone. All it should say, he told us, was L'Ador V'Ador, a gift from one generation to another. The kids in the congregation loved him. He respected them enough to tell them the truth, to be honest about the brokenness of the world, and to insist that they had the power to repair it. Bernie was a regular member of our Torah study group for years, and Kedoshim, this week's Torah portion, was one of his favorites. We would start to study, and immediately somebody would ask, what does it mean to be holy? We all knew the answer. To be holy is to be a person who helps God, who does a tiny fraction of what Bernie did for our congregation. And every year, we'd say that, and Bernie would yell at us. I'm not holy, he would say. And he'd scream, because he screamed about everything. But look what he had done. The Hasidic master, Nativat Shalom, loved to teach about the Mishkan, the portable worship space that the Israels carried throughout the desert. Bernie and Nativat Shalom shared the same favorite verse, a verse that taught that all Judaism came from the verse, they shall build me a holy place that I may dwell within them. Every Jew, Nativat Shalom wrote, must build a place in himself where God can dwell. And how do we do this? By bringing a gift to the Holy One. Each of us was born with some pain to repair, some wrong, some injustice that only we can repair. We give of ourselves to make the world a better place, and God comes to dwell within us. That was Bernie. He took his pain. His gift was his anger of all things, his coarseness, his insistence that we move forward. And he used it to make our community a better place. Holiness is not about flowing robes, and it's not about living alone on a mountain. Holiness is about living in the muck and the mire of the world, about taking our pain and using it to create a better world. And holiness is about giving a gift to the next generation. Most important of all, holiness is about community. When we were standing here, fumfering for a melody for Michamocha, You were there. We all have different gifts. And we bring them together. There's one final piece to Bernie's story. He was in hospice for the last 2 months before he died. Normally, somebody in hospice would get a few visitors. If they're really lucky, maybe a visitor every day. So many people loved Bernie that we had to schedule visits through the office so that the hospice wouldn't get filled up. This crabby old man, crabbiest person I ever knew. And the last thing he said before he died was the only argument I ever won with him. He turned to me and said, "So many people have come to visit me. Maybe you were right, Art. Maybe I am holy." In the end, holiness is about community, about the nudging and the honesty and the words that we say amidst hospitals and bedpans. And holiness is about the gifts that we give each other, the work that we do, each of us in our own way, to build a better world. May Bernie's memory be for a blessing. And when we all find and honor the unique holiness in each other. Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you, Art. Thank you for honoring Bernie's memory and for showing us how the sacred words of our tradition in this week's Torah portion relate so directly to what sounds like an incredible man and influence in your life. Thank you.
Thank you.
Charles, are you ready? Okay. Page 586. Come on up. It's like The Price is Right. Come on up. Please rise. That was like a 9.7. The last time I was a 9.6. So you're getting better and better and better. Please be seated.
In my congregation, the ark doors go down to the floor, and occasionally we'll have kids who try to stay inside afterwards.
Our board member assigned for tonight is not here, so I'm going to ask our president, Roberta Solomon, to share some important announcements with us.
And I promise I'm not going to sing them.
You could.
You could. It'd be better than us singing.
Yeah. That might be true, but yeah.
See?
But you have so many other talents. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
So tomorrow, on Saturday, April 29th, there will be Torah study at 10:30 a.m. with Rabbi Goldstein and Art Grand. On Sunday, April 30th, please join the Coffee and Chat Tribe gathering at 9:30 a.m. with Board Member Mark Charney and Synagogue Director Lauren Snyder. On Friday, May 5th, Shabbat service will be led by Rabbi Goldstein, Zahara Lucas, and Education Director Leah Savage. On Sunday, May 7th at 4 p.m., we will celebrate Bunny Goldstein's Celebration of Life. Then, on May 8th at 6 p.m., very important, please be here for the annual membership meeting with a wine and cheese reception. This is for inducement to come to the meeting, right? Please make sure to be present. Pardon? Well, no, that will be after. It has to be after because we have to vote first. So please make sure to be present, as we must have a quorum to conduct the vote. Second Saturday mitzvah for Mother's Day weekend with trash pickup and taco lunch will start at CBS on May 13th at 10 a.m. RSVP online so that there'll be enough supplies for everyone. Our 3-day kickoff of celebration of CBS's 70th anniversary weekend is almost here. That's going to be on May 19th, 20th, and 21st. Tickets for Saturday, the 20th, only have a few seats left, and RSVPs are still open for the Shabbat and Sunday Fun Day online. We'd like to give warm wishes to this week's birthdays and anniversaries. Happy birthday to Daniel Schwartz, Audrey Mariski, Naama Abramovich, Guy Sandler, Tucker Caitlin, Heidi Soldinger, Leona Rice, and Louise Shine. And Wendy Ellen Cochran. Oh, happy birthday to you as well. I'm sorry, I missed you. And a happy anniversary to Henny Cohen and Lee Trucker on their 39th. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom. Our thoughts now turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. On this Shabbat, we remember and honor those who have died during the past 12 months. David Alpert, Renee Munoz, Michael Kossin, Paul Dworsky, Ed Eston, Micah Bisel, Jill Daly-Katz, Gabriel Harrison Escalera, Colonel Ed West, Joe McCaffrey, Beverly Eigner, Ruth Morlett, Lourdes Blake, Othello Thornton, Alan Rosen, Fred Goldman, Ann Rapson, Bob Massey, Lucille Posner, Bunny Goldstein, and William Bill Lenish. And we also remember the yard sites, the anniversaries of the deaths of Norman Charney, Harry Lieberstein, William Schwartz, Morris Levy, Hazan Yehuda Keller, Helen Spitz, Mortiza Day, and Jack Jacobs. And if anyone has a name they'd like to add to our list.
Bernie Lieberman.
The Mourner's Kaddish is on page 598. If you're able, please rise. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabbah, be'alma divrach erte v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon v'yomechon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, b'gadal v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi Shmei Rabba Mevarach Le'olam Olamei Amaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal Shmei D'Kudshah B'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tishbechata v'nechemata. Damiran ba'alma v'imru amen. Yehi Shlama Rabba min Shmaya. V'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh Shalom b'imramav. V'yaseh Shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the source of peace grant peace to all those in mourning and comfort to all those who are bereaved. And let us all say amen. Please be seated. We're going to close with a final song, and then we're going to do Kiddush and Motzi. So let's be democratic about it. What should we close with? Bim Bam? Would you want to help us? Bim, 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 bam. Bim, 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 bam. Bim, bam, bim, 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 bam. Bim, 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 bam. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom.
If it were just me, it would have been the sound of one hand clapping.
Okay, let's rise again for the Kiddush and Motzi. And I just want to offer a special thank you to Roberta and Katie for your voices, to Ellen for lighting the candles, to Art for his words of wisdom, and looking forward to Torah study with you tomorrow morning. And please join, here, why don't you, do you have a spare hand? You can hold it up. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen, l'chaim. Amen. L'chaim. And in anticipation of our oneg in the back, please join us. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. B'te'avon, Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
Okay, I think that was your best yet. That was terrific.